Why is it difficult to find your own stream link? You'd think that would be something that it would just do easily, wouldn't you? Let's throw links to this out everywhere and see if I get anyone coming to watch. My apologies to anyone who's already watching, but I shall start talking and start playing properly in a moment. I can't help feeling there should be an easier way to do this in advance, but I haven't found it yet, so I will keep looking. Try and be a bit more organised next time. Okay, so welcome to Laurence Plays Factorio Space Exploration. I've got this rocket here that I've been filling up for a little while because I have some cunning plans. And that one's just going off all by itself. Let's not worry about that one for now. So, I've got various... I've had various complaints, like this one here that's just popped up here. My factory is running low on blue circuits, and I do have a system over here building them up, but it's doing it fairly slowly because blue circuits are expensive and complicated. So, you know, it's going to take a little while to get that up to a decent speed. So we're going to leave that running because I want to have lots of them for now. But we're going to be doing something a bit more future-proofed about it and that's what the stream's going to be about, or at least until I get distracted by something else, or maybe until I finish it and go off and do something else instead. So what have we got? We've got this rocket here, which I've loaded up with oodles of stuff. And this should, in theory, be the right amount of stuff in the right numbers to do what I need to do, except that I ran out of space. As you can see, the rocket is now completely full, so I've started putting bits and pieces that I'm going to need in my inventory as well. And there's still everything that's in this chest that also needs to go up there as well. So looking at that, that will just about fit in the space left in my inventory. But there's these two things here that I'm still waiting for more of. I'm still short about 100 productivity modules and 26 stack inserters. So this is taking a while to get everything I need all available, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get out there and realise I've forgotten some stuff. However, that's not the end of the world, because in order to actually make this useful and have all the stuff that I'm going to be building on Hinkiswezwi being shipped back to where it's needed, so to the space station and to Norvis, I'm going to need to have a rocket full of rocket parts fly over there as well. So the fact that this one is completely full and only has a few rocket parts there and a few in my inventory kind of doesn't matter, because I'm going to need to send another rocket out anyway. So I wonder, how many are... So I have a place in my space station where rocket parts are assembled, accumulate as rockets head over here. Now there aren't all that many of them at the moment because there isn't really any throughput here, because there isn't really anywhere for it to go. There's just this thing up here that builds the in theory builds the memory cards, but doesn't appear to be because it's run out of copper. Okay, great. But oh yeah, that's because the train that takes stuff out there has run out of fuel. I've got this warning at the bottom down here, so I need to head up here at some point and refuel it, but I don't care about that at the moment. What I do care about is hopping in this rocket and making sure I've set it up properly. So I've got manual trigger to Hinkiswezwi and to the actual landing pad. So let's do that. Oh, and hey, now somebody actually watching. Could you let me know, is everything working? Can you hear my voice? I had some issues the previous time I started streaming, and it turned out I've been talking for ages and nobody could hear a word I was saying. The fact that you're still here makes me think you probably can, but I'd like to be sure. So, let's launch. Fingers crossed. And the system immediately starts building up a new rocket, which is quite nice. It's all fully automated. What are they doing? Oh, okay. That I probably should have disconnected. Where's that getting signals from? Is it this one? I want to stop this before it just loads all kinds of stuff I don't need into the rocket. Yeah, it's this one. Let's stop doing that. Okay, so I now have a massive quantity of stuff stuff. And I'm out here on Henkesesui. This is my planet where all the holmium comes from. So we've got out here, we've got a few patches of it, I imagine. Where are we even getting it from? Oh yes, there's a patch of 12 million here, so that's a pretty good amount. So we've got a station up here that's going to be picking it all up, and then we can ship it all back over to here where it'll be processed. Now what I want to do here is I want to do everything that involves the holmonite. So that's turning it into the, what do we call these bits? All the way through here, turning it into the ingots. But instead of firing it off with a delivery cannon, because the delivery cannon is slow, you can't fit all that much in it, and it's relatively expensive. Instead of that, what I want to do is I want to build up a much bigger smelting facility that will produce it at a much higher rate, and then we can load it into rockets and fire it off that way, and that's going to be much more effective. However, I've come up with this design for a holmonite smelting thing, but as you can see, it's kind of huge. I did consider putting it in here, again, pop, 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 because I'm going to need 4 of these to get a decent amount out, or at least I reckon I can probably get away with having 4 of these. But there's a lot of swamp over here, so this is all water. I don't want to try and build over this. Well, I can't build over this, not without going in with a large quantity of landfill and just filling it all in again. So I'm thinking I'll probably build it over here. But that means I need to then run railway over here so I can have some drop-off stations, because I don't really want to belt it all the way over from there. So yes, this is going to be a fairly big job. But let's get over there and put some radar down and start thinking about it first. I didn't pick up that other box full of stuff. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh well, I'll just have to go back out, load it all up into another rocket and send it over with all the other rocket parts that I'm going to need at some point. And while I'm here, I can repair these asteroid damage as well. Okay, let's whack a radar in over here as well, like that. Now I should be able to see this area a bit better. I've dropped it right on top of another holmonite patch, but there's only 1.8 million in that. And given that other patches seem to be sort of 10, 12 million, 24 million up there, I'm not too bothered about that. I'm going to not worry about that. What I will do though is I'll start slapping down these blueprints, because at least then I can sort of start thinking about where I want to put everything. Come on, where I want to start putting things. Which way round is this? Okay, that's got everything flowing from right to left, at least, or rather, it's got the inputs and the outputs flowing from right to left. The bits in between, I don't actually, it can go whichever way. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to want to put in, as I said, 4 of these. So let's start here, just sort of slap bang in the middle. I'll bring some stations over in a bit. 1. Try and line them up, because it'll upset everybody, including myself, if I don't. I can't see where to put the top last one, so I'll put it down here. I don't really care. There we go. So that is, I'm going to need more more radar than that. I can tell. And also, I'm going to need a lot of stuff being built out here. So I think the next thing to do is probably going to be to run out the roboports. If I put that there, I don't know how well this is going to work. And the other problem is going to be all the ingredient supplies that the robots are going to need. Oh, don't do that. Let's put these. No, I should. I mean, I might as well put them out on the pylons actually, especially when they're the pylons are in the right place. I'm a bit worried that nobody's said yes, they can hear me talking yet. I don't want to be just sort of shouting into the void, if I can avoid it. Pun completely unintentional. That was bad even by my standards. Where's the best place to link up to the... I'm not going to have enough for this, am I? Let's come down here and see. I might be able to reclaim some from previous usage. How far away am I? Oh, 2 more. Okay, so let's nick a couple from down at the nuclear power plant, because I don't need to be able to repair that, do I? It'll be fine. Maybe more than... Let's just take all of these, because it's not so useful having partial coverage down here. There we go. I'm hoping the fact there's 3 people watching means you can hear me, but it is a little worrying that nobody said anything yet. But then also nobody said you can't hear me, so I don't know. Is that a good sign? You tell me. Okay, so we now have... Oh no, these ones need extra poles like that and that. Okay, there we go. There we kind of go. So I think I don't know how many construction bots I actually have. Why can't I play this game? Let's put another 50 in there, just because I think we're going to need them. So there's 140 of them in this facility now, flitting around doing all of this work for me. So that's pretty good. Now the first thing they're going to be doing a lot of is pulling up trees. They're also going to try and fly. Oh, they're all going to try and fly. Yeah, this is badly thought out. Ah, good, thank you. I'm glad it's working. My previous, this is actually my second Factorio stream. I don't know if you saw the first one, but the first one I did, I was told a couple of minutes in after I'd done a bit of an introduction that nobody could actually hear me. So I wanted to make sure that I'd actually got all the settings right this time, because it's slightly hard to tell. I mean, I can see the picture appearing in YouTube's preview thing, but the sound is a little harder to tell. Perhaps possibly what I should actually have done is somehow moved this from here up to here, so that I'd have brought all the supplies into the right place. That would have been significantly better. However, it would have also been rather tricky to do because I wasn't up here. So yeah, it's sort of a catch-22. I didn't want to go there until the landing pad was in the right place, but I also couldn't move the landing pad to the right place until I got up there. I also noticed there's not remotely enough space in the chests down here to unload everything, so I'm going to come down here and stick some more inserters in. In fact, let's move that pylon out to there. Then I can put some more of these yellow chests, probably. Yeah, that'll do. I can shove them across there. Set all those to be blacklisting. And there we go, they can now happily unload. Looks like I brought out all the equipment to build up another nuclear power plant as well. That's probably a good idea, given the problems I had on Ganymede and wherever the other place I went was, Frost. That was it. We're running out of power. I think it's probably going to be a good thing to have a bit of extra power available to me out here. Although hopefully that won't be quite so much of a problem, because this design that I've built up here is fully beaconed up with efficiency and productivity and so on. Whereas the one I built on Frost, this was sort of before I'd done quite so much learning, essentially. As you can see here, we've got lots of productivity modules. These aren't actually full. I'm aware of that. And lots of productivity modules, but no beacons giving us the extra speed and extra efficiency modules. So this is horrendously power inefficient. I mean, it doesn't matter right now because everything's caught up. But when it was running flat out, this plus the cryonite production down here was using about 120% of the power I was producing. And as I'm sure you can imagine, that's not ideal. It was a little bit slow. It was having some issues. Okay, so the next thing to do is going to be to take this train, manual, here we go, and I'm going to head up there because the reason I'm taking this one is because this is a file train, which means it doesn't mean it's made out of curry. It means it can do all of the rail building for me, which makes things much easier. I apologise for that pun. It was pretty atrocious. Was it even a pun? I don't know. Whatever it was, I apologise for it. So somewhere around here. Typically, I put all my pylons in, slap bang in the middle of where I was going to put that rail, I think. Or have I? Maybe not. That radar is, though. Oh no, we're okay. Excellent. That's good to know. Let's try and get out. No. What I want here is rail going like that, and like that, and I haven't got any in my inventory. Fortunately, there's some here. Go magic robots. Maybe there are other robots trying to do it for me. I don't care about that for now. I just want to go around here. Signals are going to be interesting around here. Let's do that. My general rule of thumb with signals in this game is that you put when you've got a junction like this one, you put chain signals on all of the entrances in the middle, and then real signals on the way out, and that tends to work pretty well. So, yes, I have put all of the pylons right in the way. Oh, for goodness sake. I mean, I know I could technically not do this. No, start. And I could make the railway line go in a slightly different place, but is it going to hit the... the planning ahead, not my forte. I'll come back and put the roboports back in a moment. And the pylons as well, for that matter. Okay, this is going to be about where I want to have the stations, I think. So let's put in... Actually, what we'll do here is I'll put in just a straight turnaround first. And then I'll come back and... What? Stop it! Stop being weird, file. And another autosave. These autosaves are taking longer and longer the further I get into the game. Okay, now I can head back and put in the other half of that rail, which should join onto here, like that. And then we have a rail coming up from there. Too much. No, not too much. What? Oh, it's because of that signal. There we go. I can do that. I don't know whether doing that is encouraged or not, but I'm going to anyway. Okay, so that's assembled all of the rail for getting out to the new part of the factory, and this is quite a good way to sort of just waste a little bit of time, essentially, while I'm waiting for the bots to do all of the construction. But I do need to now get back over, get back over there and put the pylons in so that things are actually powered over there and the bots can do the construction. Ooh, that wasn't where it was meant to go. I think... Come on, charge back up again. There we go. I shall put these back in by... on foot, because it's just a bit easier to get around this way. Or on foot, meaning jetpack, rather than train. Anything but train. I was wondering actually if I should go down a bit more and try and make a bit more of a diagonal across to the everything else like this. And I think that's probably worthwhile because it'll give the bots a slightly more helpful route to take. So we'll do that. And link these up on the way back. Okay. That should allow the bots to carry on with the actually, doing the building that I've asked them to do. I'm going to put some yellow chests in over here as well for any more Any more wood they happen to find, they need to get rid of. Hopefully they should now all start going again. Excuse me, I don't seem to be able to talk today, which isn't a good start for a stream. So we'll get that. Yeah, that should all run, and I can start worrying about other things like how I'm going to unload all of my trains. So let's grab some more rail. That's more than enough. That'll do. I can upload and I'll unload upwards. And that's big enough for a train. Now what I can do is I can scroll over here. I can copy one of these unloader stations. I can certainly copy. Oh no, it's on the wrong side. That's annoying. Do I have any LTN stations? No. Is that something I've forgotten and I'm going to kick myself about? It is, I think. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate my inability to plan ahead properly. I was aware I was going to be building some more stations, but I seem to have forgotten to bring any LTN stations out with me. So I'm going to have to come down here and see what resources I've got and whether there's all the bits and pieces I need. Yes, I've got some glass here and some copper. So that should... Oh, I need some more iron as well. That should be enough to get me some LTN stations. And then we'll see after that how many of them I need. Let's make 2. Once I put in the station, I can then have a bit more of an idea where all of the unloady bits are going to go. So it should be a bit easier to plan from there. So let's put the station in first, like that. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good, that's just big enough for my trains. Now I can make a copy of at least the first part of this, like so. Actually, let's get the right one, so it's already all programmed properly, like that. Oh, I'm only using 4s. I thought I was using 6 wagon trains up here on the wherever I am on the outpost, but apparently not. Okay, we can build all that up. Some power. Have I? No. Oh, I guess the bots were going to do it. And I'm going to need to put in a constant combinator in as well. But that's not too difficult to make. And I'm going to need to program it with essentially telling it to that it's to have all of the parts. Tell it to have the holmium ore delivered here, but I'll do that in a bit. I also need to signal the station because otherwise I'll have problems. Okay. Right. What else do I need up here? There are other inputs required. I remember that much from when I started putting the whole thing together. So we need water. That's not a problem. There's loads of water down here. We need. Okay, so I think this is the holmium, the holmium ore input. Then the rest of it is just sort of passed back and forth. We've got stone coming out here, sand coming out here. So those I'm going to need to do something with, and probably turn them into glass, I guess, because that just seems to be what I do with all of the stone excess stone I produce. And I'm a bit worried I'm going to have too much of it, but we'll see how that goes. Then the ingots come out here, but I also need to make these red ball things, and that's based on an input of, is it plastic and vulcanite? Plastic, vulcanite, oh, and steam. I don't remember thinking about steam. I guess I'm going to need to put a boiler in here as well. Forgot about that. And a supply of acid. Okay, I've not come quite as well prepared as I was intending to. That's a bit of a shame, but we'll have to see how it goes. And then so yeah, we're going to need a supply of plastic and a supply of vulcanite up here. Now, there isn't a supply of vulcanite on this planet. Actually, that's not true. There is a supply of vulcanite, but it's coming in by delivery cannon, so it's kind of pricey. There's not a huge amount of it, but there is some at least. I could. I don't know. The problem is I don't remember off the top of my head how much vulcanite I'm going to be getting through for this system. I don't think it's a great deal. There's quite a lot of recycling of these things, and you don't need a huge amount of them. So it comes in at this stage. Um, what? Oh, okay. Um, so many different controls. Where was I? Yes, it comes in at this stage. So if we look here, we've got it uses up half of it. Okay, so we are using about one cation bead for every holmium powder we produce. That's not great. But with the productivity modules, I think we're producing a bit more than that. So I think we get 50% from it running normally, and then we get an extra. I don't know. We haven't got the modules in there yet to tell me. This one's 16%, so it's 24%. So there's an extra 24. Yeah. So we get there's a little bit of recycling going on, so they get looped round and round, and you don't get quite through quite so much as you expect to. So it's going to get through quite a lot of holmium by the looks of it. I think I might need to consider having another rocket bringing it in. Oh dear, this is getting big. This is getting bigger and more problematic the more I think about it. Maybe for now we'll set it up with the delivery cannon chest and see how we get on with that, and then try and upgrade it after that. Because I don't know. I don't know whether I can get away with setting up another vulcanite drop-off point. So the other thing we're going to need is a system bringing the bring the holmium ore over to all of these things. So what I'm going to do is sort of the quick and dirty. I'm going to do this with blue belts because that's what it needs. Let's do the quick and dirty balancing. It's not really balanced, but it balances it between stations, and that's what I actually care about. So we do that, then we have this, and then we'll put in a 4-to-4 balancer, just to keep things balanced, because I always find these things, if they possibly can, they always find a way to unbalance themselves. It's just that's how it is. If you leave a station with any possibility of managing to unload the wagons at a different rate, they will find a way to do it, and you'll find that your production has issues. And that's happened to me on ore production on Norvis. It's happened in probably other places as well. So here we go. This is my holmium ore, whatever it's called, input. This is also a holmium ore input. Not that way, that way. That's well lined up. Never mind. Is there one more below this? Yes, there must be, because I can see it here. Oh, there's two more below it. Okay, that's fine. This is going to be the part of the build where I realise I haven't brought enough blue belts, because I didn't think about actually transporting the holmium around to where it's going to be needed, no doubt. There we go. I have noticed while I was designing this that the holmium production is incredibly inefficient in quantity of. Oh, right, lines up nicely. In the amount of holmium ore it takes to actually make a quantity of the holmanite metal, it takes a lot. It was something like, was it 10 to what? I can't remember. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I think I realised I was feeding in a whole blue belt of the ore, and I was getting out something like a yellow belt's worth of the metal afterwards. So it's kind of an inefficient process. Let's tidy those up. But you know, I need the holmium. I've got to do it. So we'll have to just make do with what we can. Make do with making as much as we can, and then just feeding it into a rocket and sending it off. Okay, so that's the first thing I need for this. The that's the holmium input. So as I said, I also need a plastic and vulcanite input over here. Now am I making plastic over here? I might be. Yes, I'm making plastic over here. That's obviously not going to be sufficient. I'm going to make another copy of this essentially, and run off that. So that's going to go. That's going to be my next station. And we're of course going to have some underground belts going through here, but that's okay. We can do that. No, don't go over there. Just try and bring this down a little bit, just sort of tidiness, I guess. I mean, it's not like I'm short of space because this is Factorio and everywhere is huge, but I just what? No. Railway building system. I have no control over my anything apparently. Is there room for that? No. Alright, I'm going to put this in one higher. And where I'm putting this is fairly arbitrary. It's just to fit it in wherever it'll go nicely. Okay, so we have another station. Oh. No, this won't be big enough either. Oh. I promise someday I'll learn to plan ahead, but I haven't decided when that's going to be. There we go. That'll fit. And we can now have an oil unloading station here, like this one. Yep, that'll do. Power that. And again, we're going to need another combinator so we can keep this programmed. This is all very, very basic stuff and not particularly space exploration-y, I admit. The stuff that's going on just off to my left, that's quite space exploration. Because we're building up the exotic material processing. Sounds like a Half-Life level. Could I put that there from here? But this part over here is just fairly standard generic railway stations with LTN. But never mind. Hopefully it's still at least a little bit interesting. And if you have any questions about it, I'll answer them. I don't have any shields in my jet. Oh, I do have the I have the sort of the pseudo shields. What do you call it? The adaptive armors. I've got a couple of those in there, but I don't intend to really get into combat, so any more than that seems a bit unnecessary. These have been enough to keep me alive. I was doing a bit of combat back on Norvis before, sort of between the previous stream and this one, because I realised that I was running out of copper, and I decided to sort of try and extend my borders from. They were here before, and I've now gone out with the artillery and construction trains, and sort of I've put in this wall and this wall. And I also added in these little outposts while I was clearing it out, so you've got somewhere to park the artillery train while you just blow up everything around it. So I've gone out to here. My future plans are to then, at some point, when I get bored of building and want to do a bit of mindless destruction instead, I'll park the artillery train in here again, take out these nests and put in a wall across here somewhere, and then one across here, I guess. And then probably across here and up here, and just to claim a bit more space and hopefully some copper patches in it like this one. But one of the things I'm doing at the moment is intended to reduce my reliance on copper a little bit. And that is, once I've finished building up this holmium processing facility here, I've noticed that there are a couple of different, what they call processing units. There are a couple of different recipes for blue circuits. You can either do this one, which uses 20 green, 2 red, and some acid, and that's an incredible amount of copper. Let's see if I can get a rough readout on how much that is. So it's 40 copper plus. Yeah, I think, yeah, so that's 40 copper goes into each one of these. Or I can do this recipe, which is only 20 copper, half of that, but it does use a bit of holmium as well. And the big advantage of this is that I can then build up the blue circuits out here on this planet, and then fly them back to Norvis and to the space station by rocket from here. And that means I'm using the copper on this planet, and there are some decent chunks. There's a reasonable chunk there of 5 million. There's another copper mine that I've already built here, which is 2 million. and a little bit more there. There's another 3.5 million there. So I can start using those, and 5 million up there. And so with a massive quantity of beacons and so forth in that as well, I will hopefully be able to essentially make my blue circuits much more efficiently and without putting so much of a weight and a drain on the Norvian copper supplies. So that's my reasonably cunning plan. Okay, so that's going to be oil. There's a bit of available space here. I could start making plastic in there, I suppose. Because again, I don't expect to need a huge amount of it, but you know, I probably find I do. Oh, I've just realised I didn't bring any what do you call it? These things, refineries with me. I wonder if there's any in the. If I'm going to get lucky and there are going to be some on this planet already. I hope so. I can see some fuel refineries at the bottom there. Let's check this way. I'll try summoning some and see if it tells me there are any. No, there aren't. Joy. Okay, I'm going to have to come down here and nick some of these then. That's a pain. So yeah, in order to plan for all the stuff I was going to need out here, I designed the blueprints in Creative Mod to get all the bits together that I was going to need. There we go. And then made to get the design, to make sure it was balanced, everything was flowing at the right sort of rate. So I had all of the stuff I needed for the blueprints I slapped down, like this one. And then there's this mod I installed recently. I forget the name of it. Logistics Request Manager. This is really neat. In fact, this was recommended by someone in the chat last time, I think. I don't have a blue chest with me, so I can't demonstrate it. But essentially, if you have an inventory open, you can then select it, and you can then drop a blueprint onto this thing here, and it will update the requests for the thing you've got open, whether it's a blue chest or your own personal inventory, to have all of the stuff in that blueprint in it. So that's really handy, because then suddenly you have this blue chest that's just requesting everything you need. There was a slight problem with that in that the blue chest wasn't big enough for everything in those blueprints because they're ludicrously big, but the theory was there. It was a nice idea, and it sort of, kind of, almost maybe sort of worked-ish. So what we're going to do is put these down over here. I'm going to set them to do the just petroleum gas recipe. No, I'm not. I'm going to set them to do the all three recipe. This time I'm actually going to plan ahead, because I'm going to want to make rocket fuel from here at some point as well. So I need water for this as well. So having a supply of light oil here is going to be very, very useful. It's going to be vital for making the rocket fuel. Where's the offshore pump? Why am I not just searching for it? There it is. Save. So I can. Oh, this is nice and close. This is perfect. This will do for watering all of the systems around here. Pump. Wrong sort of pump. Pump. There it is. Let's put it here. Then we can run the pipe across this way. Then run it upwards. This. And discover we've got it on the wrong side of the thingy. Refineries. So just link this up like this. I don't know why I've got normal pipes, but not underground pipes. I must have just emptied my inventory or used them all up or something. So link that like that. Down, and we need power for the, what do we call it? This is a weird this felt very weird when I first started playing space exploration, that you needed to power the offshore pumps, because of course in vanilla you don't, because putting down offshore pumps and having them self-power is basically essential for actually, just getting the power bootstrapped in the first place. So if you couldn't do that, it just wouldn't work at all. So having to do things differently in space exploration was a little bit of a surprise, but not one that caused any problems. So many trees, so many bad straight lines. I could copy and paste this, of course. I don't know why I haven't. I'll probably copy and paste the other side because that's going to be a bit more fiddly and complicated. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just build it all manually. I mean, this does give me time to do important things like wait for the bots to build everything I've demanded they do. But I'm almost glad I forgot all these sort of things and I'm having to do them extra, a bit now, because it gives me something to do while I'm waiting for the bots to do their stuff, because that is going to take them a long time to finish everything off. So it's not completely unwelcome. Let's see, I need some tanks at the top here. And to shove some power in. One of my GTA videos has just gone live on YouTube, and I've just had a notification pop up to tell me there's already been a random spam message posted on it. Is it 9 o'clock already? It is 9 o'clock already. It's a bit frustrating. I mean, YouTube have got very good at removing them almost immediately when they pop up. It's the sort of ones that are a 3-letter domain, or a 3-letter dot 3-letter domain name that and nothing else in the entire comment. So they're obviously junk messages, but I say YouTube have got better at clearing them up. So, but usually these days, by the time I notice it's appeared, it's already gone. So I'm not too worried about it. But it is still a bit annoying, and I wish they'd get that sort of thing sorted out and automatically block them slightly sooner. Right, what's next? Oh yeah, I'm actually trying to make plastic. That was the thing I was doing, wasn't it? So we need some of these chemical plants, which I've got about a bajillion. Oh, we're going to need coal as well for plastic, aren't we? Probably enough. Plastic bar, yeah, coal and petroleum gas. Okay, I'm going to need to have a coal station as well. Do I have coal being shipped in by train? I think I shipped around by train. Yes, I do. Okay, good. And I know I'm going to need copper at some point, but not for a little while. I still haven't decided exactly how I'm going to get the vulcanite in. That's going to be a that's going to be a pain, but it is going to be vital, unfortunately. Can I bring this over on a yellow belt? It won't be fast enough. What I mean, not what I say. Okay, and then we have the plastic coming out again here. I'll need to join it on with vulcanite at some point, and then feed it into each of these 4. So let's assume I do that here. Now, splitting it into 4 is absolutely trivial, of course, because 1 to 4 is just a pair of 3 splitters like that. And if I'm using a yellow there, then obviously I can use yellow everywhere else. Did I get that right, or did I miss? I think I probably missed, because it was quite a long way out, and I just dropped it more or less at random. There we go. Then there's another one down here. Where is the end of this? This one. Yeah, let's just bring it straight across and then down. Alright, I'll go around the Roboport. And the fourth one. Goes in, down here. Okay. Oh yeah, we need these as well on the other side. That'd help. What's getting destroyed? Oh, Myokin. I don't care about Myokin. I've basically abandoned it to the meteors now at this point, because I was having so many meteor strikes out there that, and it wasn't really doing anything particularly useful. I thought, I don't care. I'll just forget about it. I've now got vulcanite production being done on another planet called Ganymede instead, and that's working much better as far as I can tell. Right. Okay, for now, let's just put in one of the. I said let's just put in one of these, and we'll use that for the vulcanite. So I'll set the. There must be a vulcanite cannon somewhere that's lobbing the vulcanite delivery cannon capsules here. So I'll just reprogram that to fire at the new one, because I don't intend to be using this anymore. And there's a bit of backlog anyway set up, so it can flow around and just work through what it's got, but I won't replenish it at all. Okay. What's next? Oh yeah, coal station. That's the next thing. So copy a station. Bonus for it being coal. To up here. Oh, it's not showing me any of. It's not showing me exactly where to put it, and I don't want to just drop it down at semi-random, because I'll probably get it wrong. Is that going to be enough? No, a planned station isn't good enough. What do I need? I need more stone bricks. Interesting. Well, that's easy. That's easy enough to do. I've got. It's always important to carry a furnace around with you, because then when you realise you've run out of something, you can just smelt some more of it up like this. I bet it's actually one of the circuits I need, probably the green circuits. For the combinator. So it's going to make. Oh dear! So look at all those bits to make just to make the station. It's ridiculous. And I'm going to need an additional combinator as well. But I think that now, is that going to be enough to get me the holmium? I've not thought about disposal of the stone and the sand, which, as I said, I'm probably going to turn into glass and try and rock it off somewhere. Not sure where, but we'll see. And then there's going to be. And then there's a holmanite coming out, and then I can start thinking about blue circuits after that. So, yeah, still some way to go. None there. How long do these go? Oh, perfect. That's convenient. I have to admit, I wasn't planning to do it quite like that. But if since the pipes will reach, I mean, I might as well. Let's see, you can't. There, you can. This one. this one, and this one. Yeah, might as well use the same same vertical pipe for those, since it does just about reach. Now let's see, if I move that to there, then I think when I slap, yes, I can get all of those in one thing, which is quite nice. And do the same on the other side. No wait, that's not there. That one's already powered. So it'll be there. And then I guess up here somewhere. Are we good? Have they all? No, that one hasn't. I removed it by mistake. Okay, so they've all got all the wiring and stuff in place that they need to actually start working. Although I do need to have another pole down there like that. The question is, do I actually have any of these in the in the system up here? And I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that gets built. If not, I can go and pull up the one that's already down there, that's already in there over on the other side. I am going to need another transmitter here, or rather, I'm going to need the same transmitter, but hooked up to this chest instead, so they get sent over here. Hi Daniel, I'm working on blue circuits in an extremely convoluted way. So back down on Norvis, not Norvis Orbit. They're being made slowly but surely in a facility over here, which has got like 6 belts of copper flowing into it and a trickle of blue circuits coming out. That's not good enough because I'm having all kinds of shortages of them now, so I'm starting to expand out a bit, and I'm also starting to run out of copper a bit as well. So I thought, rather than try and upgrade this for now, what I'm going to do is use the alternative blue circuit recipe. So instead of this one, I'm going to use this one because it's half the price, but it costs a little bit of holmium as well. And then I thought, well, in that case, rather than shipping the holmium around, why not go out to the holmium planet, which is this one, and make the blue circuits over here. So this is my holmium processing facility. This is getting very gradually built up. The reason it's particularly taking so long is because the rocket landing pad was over here due to sort of poor forward planning about 200 hours of gameplay ago. So the bots are having to fly all the way down here to grab all the bits and pieces they need, fly them all the way up here, running out of power on the way, and then they can put them down. So while they're getting on with that, I'm just doing other things while I wait. And it's so it's taking a little while to get it done. I'm then also thinking about all the other things I need in order to process the holmium. So I'm going to need plastic, so I'm going to start shipping in oil to here. I'm going to need holmonite, which is going to come in by delivery cannon capsule. And then once I've got that, I'm also going to need copper up. So I'll have another thing here making copper. And then we're going to need something that's exporting that over to the to be made into the circuits. I'm going to need stone bricks as well, come to think of it. So that's something I can do with at least a bit of the stone that's coming out of the holmium processing. So maybe that'll sort of tie in together a little bit there. So yeah, so there's lots for me to work on at the moment. Hopefully that's now, yep, that's ready. Go on, put it down. Thank you. And that means I can put in this as well because I know where it goes. And no doubt find out I don't have any of the bits I need for it. To be honest, my main problem with building all of this up is my inability to plan ahead sufficiently reliably to bring all of the stuff I need with me. So I've already realised that I probably should have brought more station making stuff. I'd forgotten to think about steam. I'd forgotten to think about... I've forgotten what I've forgotten to think about. That's how bad it is. So fortunately, I am already planning to bring a second rocket out because I know I'm going to need to bring additional rocket parts for the rockets that are going to be taking the holmium and the blue circuits all the way back to Norvis and to the space station. Because the rocket I brought all the stuff out in first was... Why didn't I just use splitters? Never mind. Was completely full by the time I took off. There was literally no space in it for anything else at all. So I knew I was going to have to send a second rocket out anyway. So needing a few extra things, it's not the end of the world. We'll just have to see how that goes. Oh yes, I'm going to need to program these, aren't I? So I think I might as well start bringing the stuff in Then we can start just sort of populating up the belts and things, and I can sort of just trace through and keep an eye and work out which bits are struggling, basically. So that needs to be a... I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to copy them all from down here because I'm sort of lazy. I don't know if that's actually lazy or if it's more work to do it this way. But I'm going to do it this way anyway. That's okay. So that's coal. Then we need oil. And holmium. Okay. Oh, right, yes. There we go. I seem to have run out of yellow belts. Let's go and get some more of those so I can at least get the oil machinations up and running. I'm going to need to have some cracking in there as well. Certainly from heavy to light, and probably potentially from light to petroleum. I'm not sure. We'll see. Because this is going to be also making rocket fuel, and that's slightly tricky. There's some. Because I've run out of splitters. Yeah, that's going to be slightly tricky because I'm going to need to have light oil for making the rocket fuel, and I'm going to need petroleum gas for making the plastic, and I need to try and balance between the two. Did I? You're probably right. I've forgotten other things as well. Oh, I've left my train in the way. You're right, I did. Well spotted, thank you. I hate this. No, can't do that. Can't do that. And then that. I hate it. Never mind. And it wouldn't have been the end of the world. I mean, it would have broken the system a little bit in that it wouldn't have had the stuff unloading in the way I wanted it to. The belts over at a lot of these chests would have stayed full of coal. But actually, that wouldn't have been the end of the world because I could have the trains would still have balanced, unloaded evenly between the wagons. Still, I would rather do it properly. So thank you for pointing that out to me. Yes, I shall endeavour to actually, look at what I'm doing, concentrate, make sure I get things right. It's easier said than done. My attention to detail is perhaps not quite as good as it needs to be for this game, really. But I suppose it means I get to go back and do things again. So yeah, great. Oh, okay. My trains on this planet, and in fact presumably other planets as well, are 1-4, not 2-4. My trains on Norvis are 2-6, which is why I assume that trains just have 2 locomotives and then 6 carriages. Although I checked the number of wagons. Let's move that to. Oh, bloody hell! You can't because of the 2 square thing with railways. I can't put this in the right place. I'm not sure. Oh, I've thought of a way to fix that. It's horrifically dirty, but it would work. I could turn the stations round so that the trains go through from right to left instead of left to right. That would fix it. I could then put the, I think, or would it? Actually, I'm not sure. Oh, don't be. I hate it all. You manual. Right. Could I put that? Where would it go? It won't even let me try. If I pull that up and pull that up, then it'll let me try. Can I put that here. Yes. Okay, we're doing it this way around. I don't think it does anything but oil. I don't care. Right. This is horrible and I hate it. But I seem to be saying that a lot at the moment. Oh dear. I've removed all the stations at least, so I shouldn't get any more trains coming out this way. Let's see. How do I get myself out of this? Another fine mess I've got myself into. Okay, you can go back to the depot. You I shall drive in manually and unload, and then get rid of. And then I shall actually fix the stations. Oh. No. I'm pretty sure there's a button to do that. I am also fairly sure it's J, but I'm not certain. Okay, how do I get into the holmium? Drop off this one. Why didn't that steer? I always struggle to steer trains when I'm going backwards, because I can never remember... No, it's not that one. Must be that way. There we go. Right. Let's try to tidy up after myself and not be so bloody stupid next time. Oh dear, numbers are difficult. It won't let me put that in there yet. Okay. Thank you. Yes, it's oh, it's a ridiculous mistake to have made, but I have, so I'll have to deal with it. Oh, I've not balanced these. That needs to be each of these needs to be balanced on the way out, so it should be there and that and no that. So yeah, this is how I actually get the ore on both sides of the belt, which will be useful. I'm gonna have to do the same here, even though there isn't really room. More underneath these. Okay, so we've got that. I think should do it. Yeah, I reckon at this point it's easier to do that and then to do this. It's getting harder and harder all the time, but it is going to be easier to do this. And this. And this. And then get rid of this. And getting this one out onto here is going to be tricky. In fact, I can, well, that said, I can delete all of this across here. Then this one comes out like that. That's straightforward. What is going to be absolutely horrible, apart from that, is getting that bottom station out. Oh no. What have I done? I don't like it, but I'm going to stick with it, because I'll leave it there as a reminder not to be bloody stupid in the future. Ugh. Oh no. Put it there as a monument to man's hubris, or at least to my hubris. Oh, and that train's in the wrong place now as well. Oh, no, it's a not LTN, file train. Interesting, it stayed programmed. Have some wood. Okay, I guess that's probably what it's running off. I'm probably running off coal, actually. Whatever. And then this train is now once again in the way. What's going on here? Oh, it's even worse. Okay, that's that sorted. Alright, that's not too bad. I can almost live with that. Right, okay, let's try and sort this out again after my suitably epic screw up there. We haven't got all the unloading things in here yet anyway, so that's going to have to wait. But I can. I'm not going to wire the stations up again because we've got a bit of the resources we need up here, enough for it to start trickling through. So I think I'm going to call that good enough for now, and see how we go from here, and get things built up a bit more before I start summoning more trains in. Ah, thank you, Ivan. Yes, there seems to be quite a few people who are attacking the mod pack, and I don't know whether I'm providing inspiration or consolation or other words ending in ation, but yeah, there definitely seem to be a number of people who are happy to see me playing and suffering through the same thing they're suffering through. Yeah, and it's nice to hear from other people who are playing as well. So especially if you're doing things differently to me and better or worse or just differently, I guess. And just seeing to see how it goes. And it means there's people who know what they're talking about and can point out when I do something stupid as well. That's always very, very useful. Where can I put this? Put it there. It's not quite lined up, but I don't care. How is... Oh, I don't know. Oh, the equivalent place would have been there, but it's too wide for a single block or whatever it is. Ah, yes, yeah. So you're probably about, well, my series 3 I started when I finished doing the first tier of all the space sciences. So it sounds like you're yeah, almost at that point. Well, I hope you're enjoying it, and it's going generally well. What's the other thing I was going to put down? Oh, it's one of these. This is my humongous blue circuit production facility, which is the whole point of coming up here. So let's put that here. And then we're going to need a massive copper smelting system to feed this. Now this is fully beaconed, so the amount of copper that's required for it is going to be significantly less than it would otherwise be. So it's 8 per thing, isn't it? So we've got a 32% gain on each of these. So we've got, pull up a calculator, 1.32 to the power, well, it goes into the, let's see, so the copper goes into these machines that make it into wire, then it goes into the machines that are made into circuits, into green circuits, that's 2. Then the majority of them go into the machines that are making blue circuits, that's 3. Now some do go through slightly different paths, but I think the path 3 is going to be the most effective. So we're going to be making about 2.3 times as many blue circuits for the copper that goes in as we would without any of the modules. So that's good and means I don't need quite the ridiculous quantities of copper I would otherwise be getting through. So that means another station in here in my horrendous station mass of doom, which means I need to punch through this belt. Which is going to be another horrible angle thing bitness. Hi English good me. And then we can add another station in here. Now the question is, how much copper do I reckon I'm going to get through? Should I just go straight in with blue belts? Do I have enough blue belts? Have I brought enough blue belts? I don't know. Let's imagine I have, just for sort of the sake of assumption. So we'll copy this station, like so. And I'm actually going to delete that combin... Oh no, I haven't linked them up, so that's okay, I can do that. I can make another combinator. How many... Oh, I've run out of chests for this, that's another thing I've run out of. Okay, shouldn't be surprised. So now out of here, I'm going to need to start making the copper. Now I don't know, as I say, I don't know how much copper I'm going to require. And in hindsight, what I should really be doing here is the efficient copper processing, like I'm doing here. At least I would be if I hadn't run out of vulcanite again, which is because I'm having ridiculous levels of problems with this. Have I got a rocket full of rocket parts yet? I think I have, and even so, I'm still having problems. Yeah. Yes. So I've got this issue down here. I've got vulcanite being brought in by rocket, but whenever it lands, it doesn't seem to be getting through all of the rocket parts that are being brought in. So what if I rotate that and tell that to unload rocket parts as well, just to get rid of the bloody things? I'm using them up fast, or I'm generating them down here faster than they're being faster than they're being used up by the rest of the rockets, which I think is probably an at this point in the game problem, because I'm getting through massive quantities of vulcanite in order to do the smelting, but I'm not really sending all that much stuff off in rockets. So I think that's why I've got so much why I've got so many excess rocket parts. I wish bits wouldn't miss like that. But it's gumming up the system a bit here, and I'll probably have to send off another rocket to Ganymede at some point with some more rocket parts as well, because I'm getting quite a lot coming in. Ooh, chat's woken up, gone off, and yeah, let's have a look. I'm not using any of the AAI vehicles. I think I can't remember if I've even got it installed actually. I don't think I have. I know I've got AAI Industry and AAI Communications or whatever it calls it. I don't think I've got. No, I haven't got vehicles. To be honest, transporting stuff around like that hasn't been too much of an issue. I've got, as far as defences go, I've got this sort of system of walls and turrets here, where I've got a wall with some nice dragon's teeth, and then flame turrets and bullet turrets that are more than capable of taking out any biter incursions that approach. They do often take a little bit of damage, but I've got the bots and the outpost trains that bring out the repair packs and spares of everything that's needed in order to keep it ticking over. So it hasn't actually been a problem. Yeah, I could make, I don't know, because what I want to happen is, I suppose I could put a chest in here. What I want to happen is for the rocket parts to be dropped in here, put onto this belt, packed up into stacked rocket sections, put onto this belt, and then taken off and put into rockets wherever they're needed to make the rockets, or put into this rocket here that can then take them off to whatever planet they're needed on. The problem is, the problem is simply it's just backed up so much. Maybe I need another warehouse in here just to store a bajillion of them, or just some copies of this in here to soak up all of the excessive numbers of stacked rocket parts. Yeah, because I'm storing them here in a in unstacked, which is very, very space inefficient. I probably shouldn't do that. I probably should have been putting them in. I should have put this in on the other side. Yeah, because this, as you can see, is filled up already. Yeah, let's do that. So if I take out 3 of those and copy that into there, then that will fill up with stacked rocket parts instead of unstacked rocket parts, and we can still unload them onto the belt over here. So that should give me a little bit more of a buffer once it eventually builds. Where was I? Oh yeah, vehicle stuff does sound interesting. I haven't looked at it yet. maybe in I have vague plans to start another playthrough just because I'm not playing enough of this game already. I've got at the moment I've got two runs going. I've got this one, this my space exploration one, and I'm doing a mostly vanilla one with one of my friends who's new to the game. So yeah, having a third game running can't hurt, can it? No. So once we finish the mostly vanilla one, we're thinking that we might start something a bit more complex with some other friends. And that whether that's what that's going to be, we haven't really decided yet. We're considering Industrial Revolution because I've heard mostly good things about that. I think so. I think that one could be interesting to try. But then that doesn't, to be honest, that doesn't really feel like it would go with the vehicles particularly well. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. See what I feel. See what I feel like playing. I guess that's the main part of it. Okay, so if I'm going to be using vulcanite to smelt the copper, and I'm using vulcanite for this, then I suspect bringing in vulcanite like this isn't going to cut it. I'm going to need a lot more than that. So that basically means I need to put in a landing pad, and that probably means I need to have another rocket on Ganymede to bring the stuff out to accessory. Now the problem with that is I haven't really designed this to load more than 2 rockets. Now I know that's not insurmountable. I could just have another branch off these belts and put in another rocket up here somewhere and copy it all. Let's try sending a rocket to there first. And see if do I have another one of these? If so, I could slap this in here. We could have that unload and go 2 ways. Yellow, don't want yellow, blue. I don't expect to get more than a full belt being used. Certainly not full blue belt being used. So I think that should be okay. I can do this. Vaguely, something like that. Let's downgrade that to blue. Something like that. Don't care about any of that anymore. Yeah, so I can have the vulcanite being dropped off here, and to start with, I'll set this up to I'll launch one here manually because I think that's probably the best way to do it, and we'll see what sort of rate we get through it at. And then I want the other belt coming from here, going up to my smelting area, which I've not put in yet. Now, I was tempted to go, I'll just put it in here because that's a convenient space, but then if I need any more stations, I'll kick myself again. I don't think I do. This is the copper ore. It's a good way of marking them that, so I can tell which one's which. This is an even better way of marking them because this is the bit that actually matters about what gets shipped where. Minus 20. Because the vulcanite, another vulcanite-based smelting facility is going to be fairly large. I could put it in here, and then there's still room for another one thing. Yeah, let's do that. Now I need to go to Norvis and make a copy of this. Oh, I only need a quad rather than a 6 because I've got less. I've only got 4 trains coming, bringing the stuff in. Let's take that much of it. Paste it in here. That. I'm going to bring all the belts across here. I'm just hoping that's going to be enough plastic. I think it should be. If not, I'll redesign it and put it somewhere else. It's going to be the only way I can realistically do that. Okay. Brings over here and split it in 4. Why does nothing ever line up? Now I can do the underground bits and it'll actually all match up. That works? Yes, that works. Okay, cool. Oh, this is fiddly. Sorry, I've gone a bit quiet. I was sort of concentrating on just trying to line the belts up, if nothing else. Okay, let's just stick with the original design up here. So that will go across there. That one goes in. What's it? That's an out. That's an... I can't see. Oh, there's the other in. Then we have this one brought up to here. And then the other one is this one. Yes, this one. I have this sort of sneaking suspicion I'm going to be bringing a lot more blue belts up here to get all of this done. And probably a lot of these industrial furnaces and a lot of the and a lot of the modules as well, because I haven't planned for any of this. Oh, I'm going to need some more doing bricks as well. Maybe I should do that for one of the inputs. I could use one of these as a... Let's just feed these directly to the inputs. So this one is one of the copper inputs. You are complete. Yes, you're a complete copper. No half policeman for me. It's a complete copper input there. Then there's going to be another. Is this a copper input? No. This. Oh, this is really hard. This is really hard to read when it's not built. So that's okay. That's a stone brick input that's feeding those machines. A copper input for feeding these machines. Then we've got the and then the wires go down. No, the slabs go down here. Then the green circuits come out here and here onto this belt. And this one feeds in and goes down here past the red circuit machines. So this must be the plastic and just plastic. Yes, it's presumably plastic. Then there must be some copper going in here. Ah, here we go. Here's the copper go. Yes, this is the copper going in by the looks of it. Hi Gort, you've missed various crimes against Factorio from me. My I'm kind of making it up as I go along a bit more than I probably should, and so there's been some fairly ugly design work going on. In a nutshell, I'm trying to make blue circuits. that makes it sound a lot simpler than it actually is, as you're probably realizing. Um, so just to run through quickly again, because I see I've got quite a few more people watching than I did earlier. Um, in space exploration, we've got the basic processing unit recipe that I was using that I've been using back on Norvis, but it's not making them fast enough, and it's getting through too much copper. I don't have enough copper available on that planet, so it's a bit of a problem. So fortunately, there's another recipe for making processing units, which is half the price for basically everything, but it also includes some holmium cables. So I need to make those for the circuits. And so I've come to my planet up here, where I've got this planet is a holmium planet, among other things. So we're digging up lots and lots of holmium down here, packing it onto trains, shipping it off. And what I was doing before I was unloading it here. It was getting processed through over here, so crushed up, washed, and so on, and then spat out in delivery cannons, sent back to the space station, back to Norvis. I'm also trying to expand this a bit as well. I don't know if you've been watching my series, but as you may have noticed, Series 3 is my sort of trying to do things on a larger scale. So I'm trying to transport things around by rocket instead of by delivery cannon. So the first thing I wanted to do was build up this facility in order to process the holmium on a much larger scale, and then the second part of that is to produce the blue circuits with some of that holmium, and also have enough holmium left over to ship it out by rocket. Part 3 of this is to produce, or part N, because I've kind of lost count, is that I'm going to need to produce a load of copper, and in order to do that, I've decided because I need vulcanite for at least this processing recipe as well, I'm going to start bringing that in by rocket as well. So that's another complication. And I'm also going to need to start processing stone as well. So that's going to be one of these, probably this one, which is this input. So I actually want to cut this input off from the copper, and I'm going to need to feed stone in there instead. So that's going to be fun. So what am I going to? How am I going to? Yeah, I haven't actually decided quite how I'll do this yet. But there is lots of stone being produced as an offshoot of this smelting facility. So that'll probably that's where I'm going to get that from. So that's the cunning plan. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed at the moment, but at the moment there's just going to be a lot of sort of bots building stuff, and I'm aware that this is running a bit slowly because the bots have to bring it all up from down here. So I'm thinking that maybe I should just run a train along here and bring it all up by train. That's a good idea. Yeah, let's do that. Right, yeah, because the bots are having to carry everything up by, I was going to say by hand. They're bots; they don't actually have hands, but you know what I mean. So because of that, it's horrifically slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this train down here. This is another of my crimes against Factorio. That whole tangled web of station there. Let's pretend that isn't there, because that's just horrific and wrong and disgusting. So we'll come down here to the very bottom, and what I'm going to do down here is hope against hope that... Oh no, I haven't got it in the right place. I'm going to have to use long inserters, and that's going to take forever. Oh, that's a shame. Oh well, it's still going to be better than waiting for the bots to do it all by this power of bottishness. So reverse back up again a bit here. I can put this rail in by hand. Is there some water in there or something that I can't see? Why is it not? Give me some more rail. And saving, just as I'm trying to concentrate on something. Come on. Right, so if I go around the corner here, I'm going to need to go a bit past actually, so I can drop in another wagon there. Oops. I'm sure I've got wagons somewhere. Come on, I must have wagons somewhere. I'm sure I brought some up by sort of accidentally on purpose, should we say. I can't read any of this, there's just too much. Oh, at least there's lots of the industrial furnaces, that's handy, so I'm going to need quite a lot of them. Did I bring any bits of train with me? I mean, if not, I can always nick one from another train. It's not the end of the world. but I thought I was expecting to have some spare bits of train available. What about up here? Oh, I do have lots of delivery cannon stuff. That's not so useful anymore because I've decided not to use it. A little bit of rail, lots of pylons, some coal for some reason. No, it looks like I don't actually have any train bits. Okay, let's empty that. I'll just come in here and put some. So I'll put these down like that. And I can empty my inventory in them. Then I can just grab stuff out of there, dump a little bit of it in there, grab more stuff. Now I can head back over to the top side and put it all down in some yellow chests, which I don't have, like these, which I'm not picking up because I've filled my inventory up. Good planning there. Good, well done. No, I do need that. Don't need that though. Where did I put my yellow chest? Supply. Here it is. Okay. Take all this back up to the new station sort of area, and then I can unload, and then I can dump the stuff out there, and the bots will be able to use it much more quickly. So hopefully that's going to speed up the construction quite a lot. So if I put some of these down, empty my inventory into it. It's amazing how much you can carry compared to what everything else in the game holds. Did I have some bots? I did have some bots. Let's put them in a bot chest thing. Oh, I put this in the wrong bloody place. I don't believe it. Put it there. Do I need that one? Yes, I do need that one. Put that there. That works better. Is there any power around here I can just tap off? Not in range. Okay. There we go. Now the robots will pick up the stuff from up there, and that'll hopefully speed up the construction enormously because they won't have to do as much flying back and forth. Let's go and get some more stuff. Ideally, actually, I should nick one of the... Yeah, there's a better idea. So I can carry more stuff in one go. Let's nick one of those LTN trains, the ones that are doing the main sort of shuffling stuff around the base. Park this one in here out of the way. You take me to there. And I can just dump stuff straight across from the chest down there and take it up north to where it's going to be a bit more useful. This feels like a ridiculous way of doing this, I have to admit, but it's quicker than getting the bots to do it manually. There's a lot of stuff I don't actually want as well, admittedly, but never mind. Like rocket fuel for some reason. Okay. Now we can go back up here. I can take all this stuff over to the building site. That'll speed things up a bit for me. I feel that, I don't know, I make all these wild and ambitious plans, but they never quite go as smoothly as I hope they will. And I guess that's just the way the game is. That's just how Factorio is. It's what it's all about. It's where the fun comes from. Just sort of going around and scratching your head against things and solving the problems you come up with, especially if they're problems you've just created yourself. There we go. That's... Oh no, it's not. There's a bit more in there. Let's take some of the stuff I don't care about up here, like... rocket parts. I am going to care about these in a bit, actually, so maybe I shouldn't take them too far away. Yes, especially yeah, I mean, it's true. It's I notice that whenever Factorio seems to screw up, and I go, oh, there's some sort of horrible bug here. It's never actually a bug. It's always just I've done something dumb and the things just aren't working for me. I think there have been many times where I've been staring at something going, what Why isn't this working? This is all set up properly. I've done everything correctly. Why isn't it working? What's going on? Why isn't it working? And then I scratched my head a little bit more, and then realised, yes, it is just that I've done something dumb. And it's that term in software development. Oh, bloody hell! The other problem I have is apparently not being able to drive a train correctly. Yeah, in software development they call it technical debt. It's things you've gone in, you've made some decisions and set things up in a way that it wasn't ideal, and you may or may not have known whether it was ideal at the time. It might have been a shortcut you took because you're just being dirty, or it might be that you thought you were doing the right thing at the time, but it turns out no. And so that, yeah, you have the technical debt where you realise that you need to go back and do things differently, but unfortunately you've already made lots and lots of stuff, and you have to then go in and rip it apart and do it again, but better, as they say. And yeah, this is definitely the Factorio equivalent of that. There's still a lot of stuff in these chests here, but I don't think so much of that is useful. I think that's mostly been a dumping ground for the sort of the stuff I was using early on in my first journey out here. I was unloading stuff there. Oh yes, I remember. So this thing I'm doing at the moment of transporting all the stuff around by train. No, don't go in there. That's why you don't go in there. Oh dear. Why do I stream my embarrassments and my terrible play? I don't know. There seem to be a few people enjoying it though, so it's obviously worth it. Let's put. Why is that? What? Oh, stupid thing of grumble. Right. Let's just dump everything into here for now, and then I can come back and think about what stuff I actually want. Now, it did occur to me, one of the things I've not got up here on this planet is these logistics bots. There just aren't any, as you see here. We've got 183 construction bots, but no logistics bots. And that means if I decide if I want stuff, I can't just call for it on the logistics network and say, hey, bring me all the things I need, because the bots will go, I'm a construction bot, I'm not doing that. More my job's worth, mate. So I'm going to have to actually just go and find things myself, or just slap the plans down and get them to do all the hard work for me. What I was saying, yes, the reason I've got this strip down here next to the railway line with all the stuff in that looks for all the world like a station is because when I first came here, I ended up crash landing my rocket somewhere miles away. I think it might have been up here somewhere. I've tidied up a bit since then, but it was around here, and I decided that I wanted to build my base down here. Because, as you can see, this area is very, very swampy, and there's a little area about the size I needed, and suitable ore patches and stuff around as well. So I went up. I ended up building a railway line with all the stuff I was able to salvage from the crash rocket, and just came down here and then started building. So it's all been dumped out by trains like this. I don't find the biters so much of a problem at this stage of the game. I've got to the point where the biters tend not to be too much of an issue because I've got my defenses. This planet doesn't have any biters. In fact, none of the other planets I've gone to have got any, so it's all pretty safe. And on Norvis, I've now got to the stage where I've got big enough walls built up. Now, if you've been following the series closely, you may be aware that I realised that no, I pressed J to jetpack, and that's not how you. That doesn't work when you're in a train. That just sets the train into automatic mode instead of manual mode. Okay. Yeah, it turns out having spoken to Irondell, the guy who produced the mod, I believe I started the game with essentially with the difficulty set too high as far as biters are concerned. So instead of starting with space exploration defaults, I appear to have started with Factorio defaults, and they're significantly more biters, should we say? Did I want to take that one as well? Yeah, so let's move this one across, and then that'll be good enough. So it was a bit of a challenge early on, but I've now got past the stage of it being a challenge. I've basically got rid of all of the I've pushed back the biters far enough on Norvis that I can then just put down defences that go around the entire area, and now seem to be about good enough. So I'm pretty happy with that. There we go. That's got me some more bot pots. Oh, I thought it was a low power thing. I think it was just the exhaust from my jetpack. Um, yeah, so now the biters are more or less a solved problem. I've got hordes and hordes. I've got the defenses built up well enough on Norvis. I don't go to planets that are full of biters because well, why would I, to be honest? That just sounds like crazy talk to me. Why is there no power? Oh, there is power up here. Okay, cool. It's just got there. So things are generally on the biter front. Things are generally okay. I don't need to worry too much about them. Um, but on the put that there. Yes, put that there. The biters aren't too much of a problem. So yeah, my main enemies are my own personal lack of forward planning, um, and possibly I was going to say trains, but to be honest, I've not been run over by trains very much. And I know they're the traditional Factorio enemy, but they've been pretty good to me so far. Long may it continue. So yeah, I don't have too many issues with the trains. Um, I died a few times to the biters back in the days when I was clearing out areas and I didn't have artillery because back when it was actually difficult. But yeah, it's not been too bad. Um, what was I yeah, the trick is the trick I go for to get around the problem of the biters expanding into your areas is to just claim is to make sure you've got an entire perimeter wall around the whole thing. Because I mean, this area isn't radared, but I know there are no biters in there, and I know they can't get there because there's a wall here, there's a wall here, there's a wall here. It's completely enclosed. There is literally no way in. And with the Dragon's Teeth, the wall, the turrets, and the flame turrets, there's really no way in for the biters. And having squads of vehicles patrolling around the outside, yeah, that could work. I mean, assuming they're capable of taking on whatever biter nest they might find, um, and defeating them is that's very true. The jetpack does help enormously. It means I don't get stuck on buildings because I can fly over them. I don't get run over by trains because I can fly over them. You're quite right. The jetpack is fantastic for just general safety and mobility. I am very very fond of the jetpack. Is this what's going on here? So run, but it can't get rid of its... Oh, there's underground pipes missing. Okay, no problem. As long as I know why things aren't working, I don't mind. As long as it's just, oh, that bit hasn't got built yet, that's absolutely fine. I mean, it's early stages of buildings. I mean, you can see how much purple there is compared to the compared to how much purple there is compared to the stuff that's actually got built so far. This is going to be quite a long process getting all of this up and running, but I think it'll be worth it. I bet it better be worth it. I need to put a lot more of these roboports down though to expand out and get all the building work done and covered by just cover everywhere with roboports since I've just gone and ripped them all up from the other areas. Let's put one in. Yeah, that'll cover well in. Is a pipe in there? No, there isn't. Cool. Actually, the most efficient way to put them down, now I think about it, is probably going to be a checkerboard pattern. It's going to suck for charging, but it's going to mean I don't need to put down quite as many to get the complete coverage I want. So let's take that one out, for example. And I think, yeah, that area is all covered, but I've unlinked the one over there. Oh no, it's just because it's not powered. That's fine. Decoy bases is an interesting idea. I've never thought of that. I kind of like it. It's not something I've considered, as I say, I've never even thought of it. Yeah, it feels like that World War II thing before, just before D-Day, where the Brits built up an entire fake army to make it look like they weren't going to go across to Dunkirk, to make it look like they were going to attack Calais instead. And you could do that, yeah, distract the biters with cunning use of inflatable bases. It's a nice idea. That does cover that one, yeah. So if I put that there, and then put in a big power pole there and there, it will eventually get power. I don't mind if the roboports are unpowered at this stage because as long as they've got power cables going to them, so they will eventually be powered, and enough coverage from the previous roboport that it will build the power pole for them, then it's probably okay. Yeah, and it's again, it comes down to on Norvis. I've got a massive area walled off now. It's all this sort of round here, and I've used lakes as much as I can to sort of reduce the amount of wall I need around here. This bit over here is my current expansion that I'm doing between going off and building things. So round all the way around here. So I've got a massive area compared to what the amount I'm using for actual factory, which is just this bit essentially. Yeah, okay, there's a couple of buildings down here. There's a big smelting array over here that's no longer really in use. It's all the smelting's being done over here, and this little one that produces like 6 times as much copper or 6 times as much everything for less inputs because it's all beaconed properly. So it's really only this sort of area. But in order to get all the resources I need, and of course I need to push further out. The slightly scary thing is, see these angles here? This is the edge of the planet. So yeah, in space exploration, the worlds have a finite size. So at some point in the not too distant future, I'm going to find the edge of Norvis, and then I'm not going to be able to go out any further looking for copper patches. Now there is a lot of space around here. There's a huge amount of area that I haven't explored yet, or haven't gone out looking for, and there's doubtless decent. Yeah, there's 1.4 million copper there. There's 5.5 million there, although it's merged with an iron patch, which is slightly annoying. Yeah, so there is more resources available out here. I'm hoping that this is going to last me until I get to the point where my systems are sufficiently mature, for want of a better word, that I can flood out and that I can go out to copper planets. And there are a couple of copper planets that I've discovered, Girofon and Soteria. They've both got a little bit of biter threat, and one of them, Girofon is reasonably close, 3,000 delta V away. Soteria is 75,000 away, so I don't really want to go there. Although I did go to Ganymede, which is 57,000 away, and that's not ideal. It's a pain trying to keep the rockets fueled. Although at least that's a vulcanite planet, so it's got a good supply of fuel there. Now I was looking at that. Does this one? Yeah, this is a waterless planet, so that's annoying. Which would mean if I want to get power out there, I'd basically need to have set up a big solar power station and beam it in there. Although let's see, solar. So yeah, solar's only 82%, so I don't really want to solar power stuff on there either. So yeah, there's challenges pretty much everywhere you go. Yeah, as I said, I've been using the default settings rather than the space exploration settings, which is why the biters are a bit ridiculous, which is a bit of a pain. Yes, I am using core mining a bit. Here we go. I've got 6 of them set up because, as you're probably aware, it's a bit diminishing returns. The more you put in, the less you get out of them. 6 seemed like a sensible number, so that is producing a steady stream of all of the resources. But it's not an absolutely enormous amount. Yeah, I think it's the. There's a couple of things that are causing the massive drain on the resources. One of them is that I'm trying to expand out and take rocketfuls of everything off to my space station. And so I've got an enormous buffer building up here, essentially. It's going to be like 500 stacks in the rocket down on Norvis, a certain amount in the station on Norvis, and then quite a bit in the drop-off points up here in space. There's going to be another up to 500 stacks in these warehouses. So there's a lot of resources getting put in here, like all these blue circuits. Each of these blue circuits, as I said earlier, is 40 copper. So it adds up quickly to a lot of stuff being just scattered around in all kinds of places, and just getting enormous. So when I try and expand it, as I have just done, I get an enormous amount of resource usage just filling all of those buffers up, and then afterwards it calms down a bit. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of that sort of thing to try and catch up from. Where can I put this? Here, I guess. If I get these in places where they can get most of the building done, then I can fly around the edge. I can grab a load of blue belts and just fly around the edge and get personal bots to do the rest of it. That's not going to be too bad. I am getting a bit away from my cunning plan with the checkerboard pattern, though, just because of needing to get the edges of things. God, saving takes so long at the moment. I mean, I know why. It's because I've been doing too much exploring of various places, but it's still annoying. Right. How are the bots doing? I mean, let's have a look. That's a... I don't know. Is that a big improvement? It feels like a big significant chunk more has been done. We've got some extra stuff. We've got some of the smelting things been put in up here. I should go in and put a radar down. Are we doing that? Oh yeah, apparently we are doing the blue circuit production up here as well. I mean, it sort of doesn't matter. I kind of want to get things done in order, so I'd like to get the holmium production up and running first. But I did just slap in a few extra roboports to get other things going. So it's I don't know. At this point, it is largely a waiting game. Just letting the bots churn through all of the stuff that needs to be built. I feel like I should go and do something else now to keep you guys interested, and to keep me interested as well. Actually, I could do some more blowing stuff up on Norvis, I suppose. Go back to Norvis. I could roll my artillery train out and blow some biters up. That's always fun. Let's do that for a little while I'm waiting for other things to happen. Artillery train. Where's my artillery train? Oh, okay, it's already rolled out, and it's clogged up stuff as well. Okay, I forgot I'd sent that down there. Down here, isn't it? Yes. Oh, and I cleared out quite a lot of the biter nests down here. Oh, can you not? That wasn't what I meant to do. Can you not use the Oh no, of course I haven't got a I haven't tried trimming a surface. That's probably a good idea. I've been thinking about it for some of the planets I don't use. Maybe even some of the ones I do use, because it just goes around and takes out the stuff where you haven't built anything, doesn't it? The unused chunks. Yeah, so it turns out I can't do some artillery fun because the artillery remote, sorry, you can't use through the satellite network. It's a bit of a shame because some nests have sprung up there, and I'm pretty sure I either cleared or tried to clear that area. Okay, well let's send the artillery train back to the loading site, because there are lots of trains trying to get in here for one reason or another, presumably for the uranium. In fact, let's send the second one back to the depot, because I don't know if there's going to be room for unloading all of that. So this is the unloading. This is the outpost system I was talking about before, where a train turns up with wood, ammunition, repair packs, walls, turrets, and inserters. Oh, can I? Oh, that's interesting. I'll do that in a sec. Thank you. And then it unloads anything that's been used up by this station. Oh, and fuel oil as well. And then that just rolls out down the belts and replenishes the defences down here. And this, I mean, this does seem to just work. It's absolutely wonderful being able to go off to another planet and mess around with stuff without having to worry about attacks happening back on Norvis and things getting blown up, because that would be horrifically frustrating. Oh yeah, so I can. Awesome, thank you. Okay, let's get the artillery train back out again once it's reloaded anyway. This is entertaining. It looks like the belt's gone across here and then just overflowed and scattered some shells over the floor. But that's because when I was moving some belts around, my inventory filled up and I just haven't tidied up after it. So yeah, it amuses me just because it looks like the belt went too fast. How are you getting on down here? 1991, 19, of course, yeah, artillery shells are really big, so the inserters can only actually lift one at a time, which makes sort of sense, I suppose. Let's go back down there to where it was before. So I think there's still a bit of destruction to be done down here. Where am I? Here. There's lots of the worms around, and I'm not so worried about those because they don't spread. And they also don't run around and come up and chew on the walls. So actually, I think I might have done this area, and I need to put the train somewhere else. But if so, that's not too much of a problem. I can divert it, and I want to take out those nests that have popped up. Now, what I should really be doing is going out and what are you complaining about? Oh, piece of underground pipe's been destroyed. That's unfortunate. That I don't have in my repair packs, and I probably should. Um, yeah, what I was saying is, what I need to do here is build up all the walls around the edge, just to block this area off a bit better, so that the biters don't expand back into it. But I can't do that from where I am, so c'est la vie. Let's take out a few of these worms as well while I'm here. The ones where there's lots of them close together and it feels worth an artillery shell. Oh, there's a few nests over here I can reach as well. Let's bring freedom to the biters. Any more? No, just a few worms up this way. Yeah, so as you can see from these outposts, I expanded out this way a bit at a time and just shelled the wasp name out of the biters as I went. But yeah, I need to do this every so often just to make sure they're not sneakily expanding while I'm not paying attention. That looks like it might be a nest. I could take a few of these out. I'm not sure there's much point because I can only clip the edge of that nest. That nest, spawner, base, whatever you want to call it, when there's lots of them there. If I move the train, however, to here, then I'll have a bit more coverage. Can take out some more biters from there. That's going to take a little while to get there. The other question is, how am I doing for supplies for building all of this up? I'm looking at this. There's an enormous quantity of bluebells, 8,000 of them. Lots of wood that's just been harvested. Lots of bells. Yeah, I think we're probably all right for most of this. Yes, I am indeed remote controlling the artillery from another planet. It's sort of long range asymmetric warfare. It's all good stuff. Where was it? Where's the train? Has it got there yet? No, it hasn't. The train is doing a grand tour of most of Norvis in order to get from one place to the other. Sometimes I wonder if I should turn all of these junctions into actual roundabouts, so the trains that are going to silly places can take their whatever route they want. But I haven't done that because everyone tells you that roundabouts are an extremely bad idea. I don't know. I think they're possibly exaggerating, but who knows? Try and be vaguely efficient with the artillery shells as I do this. They're quite expensive. Actually, not so much they're expensive, it's just that I can only hold 400 of them in my train, so let's wake the biters up a little bit. The problem with trying to be efficient is sometimes you don't actually take out all of the nests, all of the spawners. So, but still, it feels like it's worth doing anyway. The wood is not exactly for anything, it's more from. Where bleep bloop potatoes over here. Okay, some of the biters came over here, but as you can see, then the bots swoop in and do all the repairs that are required. There's also going to be presumably quite a lot running up this way to wherever the train is up here. So this outpost, unfortunately, is a bit smaller, and I've pulled out some of the defences from it, so it might struggle a little bit, but I think it should be okay. I think the railways are fireproof, so yeah. Sorry, I was saying the wood isn't so much for as from. There is wood in the outpost station there because I've been ripping up trees in order to build up the factory out there, and the bots have just been shoving it in the chests because they have to put it somewhere. So I could, in theory, turn it into circuits, but yeah, I don't want to. I want to use the more sustainable stone-based method. Yeah, I've heard of sort of eating cockroaches and skittles, crickets and stuff. I'm not sure whether it really appeals to me. Although there are various protein powders and things that are derived from insect protein rather than whey protein. I suppose to an extent, it comes down to how much it's been processed. If you're not picking legs out of your teeth, maybe it's not too bad. But yeah, I imagine the biters probably, especially I mean, these are roasted rather than fried. To be fair, it's probably a pretty dry heat when you dump flaming oil onto them. Actually, no. Come to think, well, it's oil based, so it's like frying, but you're not supposed to really use fire in frying. So I don't know. Yes, this is a problem I have here. I should have put gates in 2020 hindsight, because the biters can squeeze through the gaps and then chew on the turrets, which is a little bit unfortunate. But oh well, c'est la vie. So the thing I noticed back before I started using flame turrets on these on my defenses like this was you get to a point where when you got to the green biters coming in, if you just had bullet turrets along there, you got to a situation where the biters would run up and the biters would start chewing on the walls, but the spitters would sit back about here and they'd spit it, then they'd destroy all the turrets. So they'd actually do a lot of damage from there. But the biters while the biters were just tanking all of the damage from the machine gun turrets. We're actually adding in the flamethrowers as well gets around the problem, because the flamethrower turret set up this massive pyre of just a flame a little bit of a distance out that the spitters then end up standing in and die very, very quickly, so they don't really have much of a chance to attack the turrets. So the flame turrets are absolutely essential for this. And then if it wasn't for the gap in the turrets there, in the wall there rather, you still get the biters, which do the damage, the heavy damage, and soak up all the damage, getting stuck against the wall, so it'd be much better. Yeah, flambe. That's a good word. Flambe cockroach, delicious. That's. It occurs to me I could move the artillery train along to this outpost, park it in this curve here, and from there I could shell this nest down here, and they probably just pour straight up and hit the wall here. But they might find their way around the end, and so just in case, I think I'm probably not going to do any more of that, because I'm not around to get in there and make the sort of the necessary little adjustments that need to be made. I could think about more research, I suppose. That's something I could be doing while I'm waiting. Let's have a bit of a look through here. So we've got the rocket cargo safety, rocket reusability, rocket survivability. These are all great because once you get to the point where you're chucking rockets all over the place around your solar system, eventually the probabilities of one of them crashing start to get not insignificant. So if we look at here, for example, this is one that's just going up to the space station. No, press the right buttons, Laurence. Look at Norvis. Look at the spaceport. There we go. If we look at this one, we've got a cargo. We've got a landing chance of 99.72% because the further you go, the worse it gets. So because I'm only flying up into orbit, it's almost certainly going to get there, and the cargo is almost certainly going to be safe. It's going to almost certainly arrive safely. If you go a bit further, like to Henkes Eswi, which was this rocket, you can see it's dropped down to only 99% chance of the cargo of 98% of landing safely and 99% of cargo safety. Now, the time when it starts to become a bit more of a problem is when you go a lot further out to Ganymede, which isn't actually in the same solar system at all. And here, as you can see, we've got a 94% cargo safety and only a 90% landing chance. So one rocket in 10 coming out of here is going to blow up and when it does that, it's really annoying because it rains the cargo pods down and scatters them around the area where it was trying to land. So not only does it do not only do you not get your cargo where you want it, it also does damage to the buildings around your landing pad when it crash lands there. And not only that, to add insult to injury, you then have 500 stacks, well, a bit less than 500 stacks because some of it gets blown up, but you have hundreds of stacks worth of whatever resource it is you've just shipped in there, sitting in the little cargo containers scattered around that area. And it then takes your bots about 1,000,000 years to go in and pick them all up and take them off to where they're supposed to be. So it's really quite annoying when a rocket crashes, especially if you're not nearby to help with the cleanup effort. If you're nearby, it's not so bad. You can just grab all the stuff by hand, chuck it into the landing pad, grab another load, chuck it into the landing pad, and it doesn't take so long to pick it up. But if a rocket crashes somewhere where you're not, then it's really, really frustrating. Yeah, so that gets back to the science here. So every time you do one of these, it doubles the cost of the next level of it. So scrolling back up, we've got what's this one? This was Rocket Cargo Safety 1. It only cost 100 research things, and it was using basic science packs. Then we got on to 2. You needed rocket science packs as well, still 100. Then it was used. Oh, then it was 100 of the blue ones, then 200, then 400, 800, 1600. No, hang on. It must have. It's powers of 2. There's somewhere in it, and it's powers of 2 anyway, and it doubles each time, and it gets up to ludicrous costs to do the research fairly quickly. But you get better and better rocket safety and so on out of it. But yeah, the rocket survivability, I've done an extra one of those. It's now 8,000 to do the next one. Yeah, my piece of advice is yes, possibly allow a little bit of space around them in case of crash landing. The bigger piece of advice is try not to fly your rockets too far if you can help it. If you can, if you look at the Universe Explorer, if I sort this by universe hierarchy, as you can see here, we've got the various different suns that I've spotted, and then the planets around them. And eventually we get down to Calidus, which is the Norvian sun. And then these are all the planets. Each one of these with the solid blob is a planet around Calidus, and then the hollow ones are moons around. Are orbits around that. And then the ones that are indented are moons around those planets. So Norvis is a planet. You can go to Norvis orbit. You can also go to Celia, which is a moon of Norvis, and it tells you what resources you can get from there. So it's worth quite seriously thinking. And then, so the reason it's so expensive to get to Ganymede is because that's down here around this moon, Statarius. And so it's a long way away. So it costs an absolute fortune to fly out there in rocket fuel, and there's a much higher chance of damage and crashing as well. Have I gone to a non-Norvis planet? That's a good question. I've gone to lots of places, but they might all have been moons. Oh no, I've been to Myokin. That's a planet. I don't go there very much because it's not a particularly useful planet. Mostly because there's no water on it, which means there's no. I can't use nuclear power there. At least, I mean, I could ship out massive quantities of water as ice by rockets, I suppose, and then I could do things like. And then I could use the condensing turbines and things like that. So it might actually be feasible at this point now to got a slightly higher tech level. But I've gone to the extent of setting up everything on Ganymede. Oh, Ganymede is also a planet. So I've gone to the extent of setting up all the tech on Ganymede to send all of the Vulcanite back, and that is basically working. It doesn't really. There's some power issues out there, and it's a long way away, but it is basically working. So I haven't gone in to fiddle with that again. So that's why I went to Ganymede, because it was the only other. It was the only other 0% threat Vulcanite planet. I could have gone to Sakimi, but Sakimi is kind of scary. I didn't want to go there. I'm also aware that the planets do tend to have these pyramid things in, and I keep meaning to explore one of those when I'm actually on a planet that has one, but I never get around to it. So, yeah, I don't really want to try and land here, for the rather obvious reasons of it being kind of infested. And because there aren't any defences out here yet, it's going to be rather tricky to set up a perimeter and get everything safed. Maybe when I've got the solar beam power thing, I could briefly use that as a weapon to sort of just cut through all of these biters and make a big safe area to land. But I don't know if it's worth it. This because there's just a lot of biters here. This is only a 67% threat level. There probably was one on Myokin, I just forgot about it because it wasn't in a particularly helpful place. Let's have a look. They show up as black squares. Yeah, it was up here, so I never actually got round to exploring it. I noticed it and then forgot about it, which is a bit of a sort of a running theme with my playthroughs. You may have noticed. I never got round to actually going and having a look at it, which is something I slightly regret. I've heard that there's something vaguely interesting there, but please don't tell me because I'd like to find out myself. So no spoilers, please. Eventually, I'll go and have a look in one and see what I find. Yeah, that's what I was Gort. That's what I was thinking. I could potentially do here now if I decided I wanted to stop with the Ganymede distance and come back here, I could, yes, I could ship the ice in by delivery cannon. In fact, I was doing that. I was shipping ice in by delivery cannon. I'd probably bring it in by rocket these days because rockets have got more to the point where they're more efficient than delivery cannons. But that's what I was doing here. The ice was dropping in, getting melted, and then pumped around. And yeah, that. I was using that for washing the vulcanite, which produces steam, and then I think I was just condensing it back to water rather than using a condensing turbine. Presumably because that got you more water back. And I was using solar power out here, which has taken a bit of a beating from the meteorites. But as I say, I don't care. I've pretty much stopped using Myokin at this point. So it's just sitting here abandoned and forgotten about, which is absolutely tragic, but c'est la vie. Actually, this has stopped. Why has this actually stopped? Power shortages. Oh, it'll be a water shortage. Yeah, there we go. I've stopped shipping ice here, so it's run out. Eventually, has it completely run out of water and stopped producing vulcanite. But you know, never mind. Oh, I've got not enough network storage space. Let's fix that. So, what? Have I split up? Oops, that wasn't meant to happen. Okay, let's get over there and I don't know. Probably let's take an empty chest over there actually, so that I can reclaim. Actually, no, if I pull up the... flying backwards and forwards like a tennis match. If I go over here and just pull up that roboport for now, because it probably shouldn't be powered yet, or it shouldn't be there or something. Which one was it that was causing problems? This one. Lost it again. Where was it? Where am I? Oh, I'm up there. Okay, oh, so down there. Right. If I fly down... If I go down here and pull up this one, like that, then I shouldn't have... Oh, it's because that one isn't powered. Right. And then all the bots will fly back off to the main roboport network, so that's okay. Let's actually do this properly. Let's power this one up. There we go. How are they getting on? Gradually. I think I'm probably going to stop the stream fairly soon. It's 10:30 over here in the UK. I don't know where all you guys are, actually, how many of you are watching from around here, how many of you are on the other side of the pond, or even just the other side of the channel, I suppose, or even further afield. I don't think we've got anyone on Mars yet. I don't think we need Starship to get a little bit more finalised before that's going to happen. But yeah, I think I shall stop the stream and then probably get all of this finished on off camera, because it's not going to be enormously exciting just watching the bots beetling backwards and forwards building all this up, and there's bound to be a number of things I've forgotten that I'm just going to need to ship up in another rocket, so that's a thing I'll do. And just generally get things up and running on here. I will of course make a video about it once it's up and running, and show everything that's been done, how it's working, how it's not working, if there's any problems with it still. Just generally get it going. I'm glad I'm glad I'm inspiring people. It's quite nice hearing from other people as see how far they've got on in it, and whether they're running into the same problems I am, or whether seeing me going in and doing dumb things is telling you what not to do. No holiday for me tomorrow, sadly. I've just got huge hordes of meetings again, I think. So, alas, maybe on Friday I'll be able to get some real work done. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just... While I'm staring at it and just watching the bots flitting around doing stuff, I suppose, I don't know, is there any point in stopping it? But yeah, I've had colleagues who have streams up on their computer while they're working with the scare quotes around it. I don't know how much it helps. It might depend on how thinky the game is, and potentially how interesting the stream is, how interesting the streamer is. And I know that a lot of streaming is more about the person who's doing it than necessarily what game they're playing, especially for the really big names like, I don't know, Soviet Womble. People, not so, yeah, people probably watch him play almost anything. It doesn't matter. They're not tuning in to see how he's doing at Space Engineers or Armour or whatever it is he plays these days. It's more sort of they want to watch him. So yeah, if you're coming along watching me and finding me interesting, then that's great. I just need to build up the subscribers and the watch count. We it peaked at 13 so far today, and is currently at 10 viewers. Which, I mean, I think given it was a completely impromptu stream, I didn't give anyone any warning. I just sort of jumped on because I was going to do some play anyway. I don't think that's too bad. I had to sort of wait because we had a shopping delivery arrive middle of the evening, and I needed to wait until that had arrived before I could start, so I couldn't really plan it too well in advance. But yeah, c'est la vie. Well, I'll try and what are my plans for the weekend? I'll try and actually book one in over the weekend so I can actually schedule it properly and give people warning and actually, a bit of notification so it's not just sort of oh Laurence is live, maybe we should go, maybe I'll go along and watch. Looks pretty quiet. Yeah, maybe another. It was Sunday last week, I think. I did it, so that's probably quite a good one. That worked then. Maybe do the same again this weekend. Oh right. Yeah, there have been a number of times when I've been playing Factorio, and it's not quite a rage quit. It's just so much of a you're bimbling along. You finish off a sort of a bit. You finish off a build. You get something running. Maybe it's sort of, I don't know, material science up in space, and then you go, okay, what do I need to do next? And then you go, oh, that's an enormous job. I can't face tackling that right now. So I end up quitting and then spending some time thinking about how I want to do it and that sort of thing. And then when I come back, I'm a bit more refreshed and I can come back and play. So it's not quite a rage quit. It's more just a sort of a overwhelmed quit, I guess I could say. Maybe if the biters got in and wrecked everything or blew up a load of stuff that was actually expensive, or a coronal mass ejection came in and ate up my blue circuit factory, then maybe that would cause a rage quit. I don't know. We should have to see. Um, but yeah, I'm quite enjoying the streaming. It seems to be going reasonably well. I'm enjoying doing it, and it's nice to have people to talk to while I'm playing, and people to point out when I do when I forget things, like putting in these the splitters over here, wherever it was. Was it this one? Whichever one it was where I forgot them. Anyway, it was little things like having it's like the pair programming, isn't it, where you have somebody watching over your shoulder and telling you when you've forgotten something. So that definitely helps. So yeah, thank you for being my rubber ducks. I'll try and I'll try and get something in at the weekend, and I'll try and give a bit of warning. I think YouTube has a system for scheduling streams. I'm not quite sure how it works because I've not used it yet, but hopefully it's not too difficult. So thank you for watching. I'll see you then. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to boost my subscriber numbers because that seems to be the where my channel is lacking at the moment. And I'll see you next time. Oh, and maybe watch some of the GTA videos. They're good fun. Right. No, I won't get stressed. I don't believe in getting stressed out. It's against my I don't know, against the way my brain works most of the time. Right. Well, thank you and good night.